Hello guys, Robot1 here, and today I am doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Good or Bad. Now, if you guys don't know what this is, Yu-Gi-Oh! Good or Bad is a segment on my channel where I talk about cards that I think that are good, but also bad at the same time. Now, so we're basically going to be discussing the cards' good points and the bad cards' bad points, and really just suss out whether it is a good card or a bad card. Personally, I feel like I'm kind of 50-50 with this card. It's a card I would play, it's a card I wouldn't play. It was announced the other day as well, so there are a lot of opinions. Personally, I was on the side that says it's not too good, but it can be really good. But yeah, let's get into the card because I'm just rambling at this point. So, the card is Pendulum Halt. Now, Pendulum Halt is a normal spell card. Its effect is, if there are 3 or more face-up pendulum monsters with different names in your extra deck, draw 2 cards. Now, if they ended it there, it would be like this card is really good. But it also has this additional effect. Also, you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of this turn. Now, why is this card obviously here? Why are we discussing on a good or bad segment whether this card is good or bad? Now, you guys are probably thinking, of course this card is good. It's a pot of greed. Why wouldn't it be? Pendulums get a pot of greed. But the restrictions on this card are actually very high. And that's what we're going to basically discuss today. We're going to be discussing its bad points first, or its good points first. Probably we're talking about its good points first, actually, for once. So, what are good points? What are the good points of this card? Well, to start off with, the good points of this card are it gives you 2 cards. That is the first point of the card. It is a +1 in any Pendulum deck. It will allow you to draw 2 cards, and you can then advance your game state from there. You can never deny a draw to a +1 in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It will always have some sort of relevance, but it's still a pot of, but there are also bad points, but that isn't all the good points. Another good point of this card, it has Pendulum in its name. What does that mean? It can be searched by Duelist Alliance. It means it's searchable through Duelist Alliance. Just have a scale, just have a Pendulum scale anywhere on the board, even if your opponent controls one. Then you can search this card, be able to draw 2 cards. Sure, that ends your Sure, you're not able to draw for the rest of the turn, or add cards from your deck for the rest of the turn, but it still gives you the +1. That is a very good point, and you guys should actually really understand that. Like, all reasons why this card are good, it's a +1. That is its main reason. But another point of why this card is very good, you can use it during the end of your combos. Sure, it's kind of like Card of Demise. You can only spend. It has the condition that rest of the turn instead of the turn. So you can always use it after you've done all your adding plays. You can always do it after you've searched all your deck. You can always do it at the end of your combo, and you can always end up adding 2 cards to your hand from your deck with this card. So those are pretty much the good points. Like, the good points are it's a +1. You can search it with Duelist Alliance, which is always a very good point to a card. Being able to search a card such as this is very good, because I don't really think there's any cards in the game to mine that are a +1 that are searchable. So, obviously other than Stratos cards, because Stratos cards can search other Stratos cards, and those Stratos cards can give you a +1. But I'm talking about draw spell cards here. Like, other than Left Arm Offering, you're not searching this card by most cards by any other ways. So, the reasons it's good is it's a +1. You can search it with Duelist Alliance, and you can always use it at the end of your combo to get more, say, hand traps, more trap cards, more of any of the stuff that you could possibly need, maybe more combo pieces for the turn after, I don't know. Like that, these are just options you could get with this card. Like, there are options. But what are its bad points? Now, this card actually does have quite a few bad points. Like, its good points, well, actually, no, let's carry on with the good points for a second, because there are actually some other good points. This card can essentially be used in every Pendulum deck. That is the gist of it. It can be used in Metal Foes, it can be used in Magispectors, it can be used in Pendulum Magicians, it can be used in Dino Mist, it can be used in Performer Pals, Pepe, Draco Pals, it can be used in all of those. It can be used in all of those. That is another good point. It can be used in every Pendulum deck in the game, and it just makes every Pendulum deck somewhat more consistent. That is another point that I should have mentioned. But yeah, that is another point. It gives consistency to all Pendulum decks, or some sort of consistency to draw more cards. But now that we've gone over that, let's go on to the bad points of the card. Seeing as the card does have quite a few bad points, and knowing this, you should actually take into account. The first bad point, which I must point out, is its requirement to draw. You have to have 3 Pendulum monsters in your extra deck with different names. Now, what are the chances of you having, say, in Pendulum Magicians, for instance, a Harmonizing, a Black Fang, or, a Harmonizing, a Wisdom Eye, and any other Pendulum Seat monster in your extra deck with a different name, turn 1? Those chances are very slim. They are very slim in Pendulum Magicians to actually have an extra deck above maybe 1 or 2 cards turn 1. And that's just not for Pendulum Magicians. Most of these decks can be inclined on that as well, with cards such as Performer Pals or Draco Pals, however you play them now. You can't have a lot in your extra deck because you won't have that extra deck. Or in something like Dino Mist, you're definitely not going to have an extra deck in Dino Mist turn 1, so the card isn't very consistent there. Magispectors, you're definitely not having an extra deck in turn 1. Like, seriously, in Magispectors, definitely not. Those are just 3 Pendulum decks that won't have an extra deck. Now, sure, Metal Foes have a better chance at this because they pop their scales, they get their effects, and have scales. They're going to end up drawing 2. But even still, the majority of Pendulum decks, cannot utilize this card turn 1. Which is one of the big factors in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. You're either going to do big things turn 1, or turn 2. Now, sure, turn 2 is pretty good, but the fact that you're going to be doing this at the end of your turn, most likely, it doesn't really do much outside of that. But nonetheless, that is just the first bad point. You need 3 extra deck monsters with 3 Pendulum monsters in the extra deck with different names. That is a critical bad point of the card. Another bad point of the card is you can't actually add any cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of the turn. Now, this is a very vital point of the card, with it being that, sure, you can draw 2 cards. That's not bad. You're most likely going to do this during your end phase, but if you can't do it during your end phase and you really need those 2 draws, then you're not going to be able to do anything after those 2 draws. Say you're playing Pendulum Magicians. Again, it's just the best deck in my opinion. Pendulum deck in my opinion. You are going to you draw this card. You draw this card. You need to draw a scale to actually be able to play the game. You activate this card if you have some miracle 3 Pendulum monsters in your extra deck with different names. You activate this. You draw 2 cards. The 2 cards you drew are cards that you use to search, be it Duelist Alliance, be it Pendulum Call. Now, those 2 cards are then unusable for the turn. And this isn't the only deck that could harm. It could also harm Draco Pals. Now they do a lot of searching. They do like a massive amount of searching in that one deck alone. They do probably about less searching than Pendulum Magicians, probably about 1 or 2 less, but they do a lot of searching. Through like Luster Pendulum, through Joker, through Pendulum Sorcerer, through just everything. Like, they search a lot. Like, that's a deck that you really need combo pieces and searchability in it. Another deck that searches, or can search, another Pendulum deck is Magispectors. Now, you use this card, you activate, you draw 2 cards, you draw Bambuku, which you can't use effect, but sure, you can make it a Pendulum scale, but Pendulum being 1 isn't very good. And you draw Demise, but you can't use that turn. Another instance of that. Cleafor, another deck that I should have mentioned. Activate this card. You draw Demise and Scout. You're not able to use the Scout or Demise anymore. So, and sure, you would probably already have your Scout. So let's say you draw a Summoner's Art. Like, these little problems with the non-searching after the card, it's a very big risk. Like, the card has a very big risk behind it, and even though you could draw cards such like trap cards or hand traps to be able to counter your opponent, this card late game is very bad. Also, just being able to have that risk of drawing any of your search cards that say, oh, I'm going to search, but I can't. It's like these points are very big, and they're very vital to why this card is on this segment right now, in my opinion. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Good or bad, this card has big bad points, such as you need 3 different Pendulum names in your extra deck, and that's really hard to do turn 1 for any Pendulum deck, really. At least right now. Maybe when we get the new Metal Foes, it'll be a lot easier. Also, in the fact that you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand the turn you use this effect. These are vital points to why the card is bad, but the card does have good points. As I said, it can be used in any Pendulum deck, just giving it a bit more consistency after they've done their combos. It's also got the fact that it's searchable through Dauntless Alliance. It's a Pot of Greed. Like, you can use it at the end of your combos. Like, the card has good points. The card has bad points. The bad points, I think, somewhat outweigh the good points, such as I said, you can't be used turn 1. You can't search. You can't play. You only get 2 draws, and you can't do anything else for the rest of the turn. 3 Pendulum Monsters in the extra deck. Like, it's really risky, this card, and this card sure is a very good card. I'm not denying that. It's a good card for any Pendulum deck, just to give it a bit more consistency, but personally, in my opinion, if you were going to even run this card, it would be a 1-of at most. You wouldn't want to see it turn 1, because there's no guarantee you're going to have those 3 Pendulum Scales in your extra deck. You would probably want, in a Pendulum Magician deck, you would probably want to search out something such as Sorcerer or a Pendulum Graph in Pendulum Magicians, or in Performer Pals. You're going to want to search your, obviously, Pendulum Sorcerer to be able to play the game, or in Odd Eyes, your Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, you're going to be wanted searching if you're playing Odd Eyes. Like, the card has its good points, the card has its bad points. But guys, what is your personal opinion on Pendulum Halt? Halt, sir? You will halt. What is your opinion on it? From the points that I've given you, do you think it's a good card? Do you think it's a bad card? Personally, I'm a little more weighed on the bad card side, but what is your guys' opinion on this? Because the card has, obviously, as I said, it has its good points, but it also has its bad points. What do you guys personally think of these good points? Tell me what you think of that in the comment section below, giving me your opinions. Don't forget to press the like button if you enjoyed this video to show that you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Good or bad. And don't forget to subscribe to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos from me, and press the notification bell as well that's below to be notified of those videos if you subscribed. So, hey, subscribe, press the bell, join my channel, have some fun. But, yeah, guys, what is your personal opinion on these points? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think the card is good? Do you think the card is bad? Again, tell me all of that in the comment section below. And as always, guys, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Pendulum Halt will halt your turn. Bye, guys. It's good or bad. And we are, if my mouse doesn't want to lag, done. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and check out the links in the description for the previous video, and the link to my Facebook page where you can see previous videos that I've posted there, and any other information that I may have posted there. I hope to see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.